Hi, this is Osman. I am an energy healer, yoga meditation teacher, and an entrepreneur. Um, Visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for a lot of resources and about all my services and how I can help you, and also my contact information. And also, please know that we are involved in wellness therapies, improving your lifestyle habits, bringing about energy therapies, mindfulness, lifestyle habits, nutrition, sleep, hydration. And these are not a replacement for medical treatment. If you have a medical condition, please consult your doctor, right? Yes, I offer energy therapies, energy healing therapies for illnesses and helping to manage and recover from illnesses. But all my patients are working together with their doctor, right? So they've come to a level of treatment that medical science cannot do anything more because there's limitations for everything. Medicine is not a miracle cure, right? There is some responsibility on you. You can't pop a pill and the pill do everything for you. You have to have some responsibility in terms of your sleeping habits, your nutrition habits, your exercise habits, your hydration habits, and there are some exercises and practices that are shown to dramatically create improvement in your capacity to handle life situations, as well as help you to or help the medical sciences, in treating your conditions. Okay, so it's not a replacement for medical treatment, as such. So I want to speak on subjects, when we come to yoga sciences and the practicing of yoga postures, meditation, and breath work. Let's come to the subject of breath work, right? So in breath work, everyone's interested. There's so many types of breath work. It's so exciting, right? There's Anum Vilum, there's Kapalbhati, and the technical terms. I mean, there are, I would say, about 200 major types of breath work. Okay, and when I came into the yogic sciences and started to study that the science, I got exposed to some of the major practices, but from a practical development point of view, there are some breathworks which are superior to others for spiritual development and yogic development of your um, body from a spiritual perspective, in terms of evolving your progress in the levels of meditation, right? So to speak. And so the one method that I found to be highly effective is the breath, alternative nostril breathing with retention, right? So the reason people don't go too deeply into the subject is because it's a very dangerous practice. If you go into the deeper study of the alternative nostril breathing with retention, the retention part is the dangerous part. And also the time, because it works with a ratio of time, right? The in-breath ratio to the retention ratio to the out-breath ratio, right? So you going to be breathing in through one nostril and breathing out through the alternative nostril. So this is the basic of this exercise, and there's going to be retention in two levels, right? In the first level, when you breathe in, you retain, and the second level is after you breathe out, you do not breathe, right? Means don't breathe in, right? After this, be relaxed, right? After you breathe out. So what I'm saying now, this practice already is extremely dangerous, right? Breathing in and holding, how long do you hold your breath, right? Well, let's say we find a manageable amount. Let's say you're just holding it for a couple of seconds, right? More than what you normally, would hold your breath. But to do it repetitively in an exercise manner, you could create prematurely a shortage of oxygen supply to your brain and cause brain damage, in the long-term period, right? So it is a very dangerous practice if you are not, properly guided, and you're not properly on that level to commence it. So everyone wants to just practice alternative nostril breathing. This is very dangerous. I will not recommend it, for you to do it. You need firstly to balance your energy. Your body must be energetically ready. So when you practice hatha yoga or the yogic practices over a period of about 10 years, and following the right sleep patterns as well as the right diet and lifestyle habits, then possibly you can be ready to start practicing the dangerous alternative nostril breathing with retention, right? But certain levels of alternative nostril breathing is safe to practice, right? But once you come to retention, this is very dangerous. But also with the breathing in and breathing out, the timing of it and how many repetitions, so it could be safe within certain limits. So if you're going to do breathe in for a count of, let's say, 5, and breathe out for a count of 5, let's say keeping it even, let's say for 10 repetitions, 20 repetitions, okay, right? It's not very, but when you start practicing it as a science and you start to go consistently 21 rounds and above, right? Now you're going to go into something that could be dangerous to you, right? You can go into danger even though you're not, retaining your breath. So that being said, the pranayama that is most relevant is the alternative nostril breathing with retention, and it works with a ratio of of a certain, which I don't want to go into in detail right now, because you need to be energetically ready to go into those ratios and those practices. And it doesn't take long. I mean, one energy session, I can prepare your body, right? And before doing that, I need to have a long discussion with you as to what's going to be involved in the practice and whether you're ready for that type of commitment and discipline, right, for the rest of your life, right? Because there's no going back. Once I activate that level for you, so I need to energetically activate that level for you. I need to balance all your energies and your chakras and make your body holistically ready to start developing, this, what this is designed to do, right? And once you are ready for that, then you can progress with it. So people practicing all these different types of breath work, and so you've got no idea what you're getting yourself into and what the purpose of this is for, right? Don't just get into practices and say, okay, it's proven to be healthy, and the University of California has done some research and we've got a thesis scientifically. How old is the science? You say scientific science. How old is your scientific science? How old is it? Right? Is my question. How old is the yogic sciences? The yogic sciences is not 4,500 years old, right? It's going back. We found evidence 15,000 years, right? Possibly 18,000 years of some people who was teaching it. But does it mean it began from that person? No. He was just that his teachings are still sustaining to this day, right? Was he the only teacher of it? No. How old is the science and the scientific science? So be careful when I'm warning you. Don't do. I'm practicing yoga and meditation for decades, right? I attained my first samadhi about 38 years ago, right? And I've attained samadhi in the different pathways of yoga, right? Trying different types of yoga practices, and I understand deeply, because yoga is very deeply connected with religions as well, and which is incorrect. It's got nothing to do with religion and everything to do with religion, because it's part of your holistic, because religion is a small part of your life, right? And yoga strives to develop all parts of your life and strives to very often interfere with your religion as well. But we are now in the 21st century. Separate religion from it. It's got nothing. So I also went into, deeper religious studies, and some things are dangerous. Learn from a qualified, responsible teacher who knows what he's talking about, someone who's himself had a lot of experience and was prepared to. So you can't go to the most advanced teacher. It's not possible. The most advanced teacher cannot speak to you on your level, right? It's not possible. If the person is on the most advanced level, he has to step down in order to speak to you on your level, on your dimension, and on your energetic level. Because when you become very advanced in yoga, that dimension level, it's difficult to sustain your normal life, because you are in such a blissful state and blissed out beyond what your mind can handle. You're not going to be in this body, cannot handle that level, right? So but you'll find someone who's got sufficient experience, and it must also make sense to you. Don't be swayed by I feel so sad at seeing some people who are perceived to be very advanced in the yoga and meditation sciences, and they're taking advantage of people because of their own energetic level. If you are in their presence, you become overwhelmed and overcome by them, and you want to, so to speak, worship them, and they are becoming worshipped, so to speak. When I hear so I see the YouTube videos of these people speaking to some of this the members of audience, and the people are so awestruck and said, "Oh my God, whatever you say is correct. No, if you say it is correct." What is this? That person is not God, It's not correct, and he's actually wrong. When I listen to a lot of these people talk, they're wrong in many things what they are saying, right? So don't just follow people like sheep. Use your own intellect, your own judgment. First, come from a foundation of where you are at. Don't sacrifice your life to someone else's life, right? You have your unique aspects of your life. Be responsible and identify where you are at, and of course, listen to other people, but don't let that person control your life and dictate to you what you should do, right? And get carried away with the science, which could be very dangerous for you, right? Because you can come to certain level that you are not ready for. You're going to activate some things that you are not ready for. Even when you go into they say, there's no harm in practicing yoga postures, right? Practicing yoga postures is not harmful. This is nonsense. It can be very harmful for you, right? So coming back to the breath work, don't just get into these things and start practicing them on your own, right? Without the direction of a qualified, experienced teacher. And it's sadly very difficult to find someone like that, right? So please feel free to contact me from my website, yogawellness786.com. My contact information there, and I've got a lot of resources. I have amazing blogs with amazing up-to-date current information relevant to the 21st century, applicable to today's life, your life today, your circumstances today. But also, don't just follow a blog or written books and so forth. Connect with someone who can guide you personally, right? Don't learn from books. Learn from a teacher who can connect with you and understand you and guide you, because you may come across a problem. You'll have a resource of someone to go to that can guide you, right? So at this stage, I don't charge any money for discussions and advice and so forth. That's totally free always, as long as I have time for it and you make an appointment. And I'm not that busy yet, so I can connect. And if I do become extremely busy, I will open some type of online portal to be able to handle it in a more organized manner. Okay, so please be careful when you delve into these sciences. Take care and look after yourself.